Okay, folks, I think we are ready to start the meeting.
Good morning, everyone, to today's Upper Rio Grande Flood Planning Group meeting. For the record, it is December 19, 2023. It is 9:08 a.m. We've met quorum. Item number 2, public comments.
And Chair, if I may, I know we have several folks in the meeting with us, and just wanted to ask if they would like an opportunity to introduce themselves, so that way we know who's participating. So if it's okay, I will start with Mike Kelly because you put your camera on. Well, although Brian was already here. Sorry, Brian, you'll go next. Mr. Kelly?
Very good. Thank you so much. I just wanted to briefly introduce myself. My name is Mike Kelly, and I am the new manager of the Regional Flood Planning Department. I started on December 1st, and I will be working with a really talented team to help provide any resources that y'all need to achieve the multiple deadlines and the multiple deliveries that this process demands. Looking forward to that. A brief background on myself. I spent 26 years with the city of Austin, where I worked for their stormwater utility known as the Watershed Protection Department. So I come with a broad and deep experience in flood planning, the design and building of FMEs or flood projects, as well as developing regulations and other safety mechanisms for communities. So I'm looking forward to blending both process and content knowledge to help this process and help y'all as we go along. Thanks for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Kelly. And before we do, Chair, I just wanted to announce that we do have Mr. Rodriguez on the meeting as well as one of our flood planning members.
Wonderful.
Thank you. And so if I can go ahead and I'll turn it over to Brian, if you'd like to introduce yourself to the group once again. Blaisdell.
Hi, everyone. Good to see everyone. As many of you may know, I was involved in the first cycle flood planning process. Really enjoyed working with you all. Had an opportunity to join HDR earlier this year, working as a water resources and geospatial project manager here. Yeah, so I'm just here to listen in and appreciate everyone the invitation. And yeah, I have 14 years of experience total. So that's my background.
Thank you. And then we also have Chris Wright, if you'd like to reintroduce yourself.
Sure. Yeah, thank you. So I'm Chris Wright. I also started out working as one of the lead planners on this regional flood plan in the first cycle, and recently have moved over to Atkins Realis, and I'm serving as a division manager here, overseeing our projects for municipal and state entities in Central and West Texas. And yeah, again, appreciate the invite. Happy to be here, and yeah, just here to listen. Thanks.
Thank you. And then we do have, I'm sorry, I'm going a little bit scattered. I neglected to inform the chair that we do have our some of our non-voting members attending. So we do have Mr. Joel Lawrence from Texas Department of Agriculture. We also have Judy Lucio with TDAM. And then we do have our current technical consultants on the line. So we have Gilbert Andujo as well as Travis Brand. Gilbert, would you like to say anything?
I don't know if y'all, hey, good morning, everybody. Great to see everybody again. And just looking forward to hearing on what we have at this meeting here, and continue working with the group as well. Thanks.
Thank you. And then we do have Mr. Nayel. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hello, everyone. I'm Manish Nayal, and I've been a part of the first cycle of this plan, and now I have joined Atkins with Chris Wright. I have about 3 years of experience, and I've just joined to listen in. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you so much. Appreciate it. I think I may have gotten everyone except for Ronald Branyan.
Yes, thank you. My name is Ron Branyan. I'm with HDR Engineering here in San Antonio. Been working with Brian, and I'm a project manager on one of the other regional plans. So I just wanted to listen in and see how things were going in Region 14.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. And I think that will wrap up all the introductions, Chair.
Great, welcome everybody. So we want to give an opportunity to give public comment for anybody that is in the call at this point. Hearing none, we'll move on to item number 3, review and approve the minutes for the meeting held on October 3rd, 2023.
Yes, we do have those minutes attached through hyperlink on the agenda. So if there's any questions for me, I can answer those right now.
Motion to approve.
I'll second.
Thank you, Levi.
Okay. With first and second, any further discussion? Okay, all in favor, please indicate so by saying aye.
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 Anybody opposed? Okay, motion passes. Item number 4, Texas Water Development Board updates.
Yes, hello, good morning, everyone. Happy holidays. I have just a pretty brief update. We have TWDB has completed our review of the group's amended plan submission that was submitted back in July. We just got out our second round of comments to your sponsor and technical consultant team. And Travis, I did get your questions. I am working on them this morning. So they are working on doing a quick turnaround for some second round of comments for us. So we are trying to finish that up with the end of the new year, or sorry, the end of this year. That'd be a neat trick. And the other thing I wanted to mention is that we sent out a November regional flood planning newsletter. It is chock full of information. Most of it your sponsor team and your technical consultant team are using, but it's nice to noodle over things. And if you have any questions about any of the items, let me know. And I think that's all I have. Annette and Omar, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item number 5, review and approve the administrative expenses of the Rio Grande card.
Yes, and I'm so sorry when I didn't move this.
Yeah, a copy.
Yeah, that's right.
No, I've got.
Oh.
I just want to make sure you have one to see. So,
I'm sorry about that, folks. On the agenda, it's stuck right there. So just wanted to ask for approval on the administrative expenses that we have that represent from May to September of 2023. This is a requirement by Texas Water Development Board. So we are showing expenses that have incurred, and that is up to $13,031.09 for that period of May through September of 2023. Year to date, that will take us to $100,592.50. And we will be asking for we'll have another agenda item like this at our next meeting to wrap up the complete costs for this first cycle. So this will not be the last administrative expense that I'm going to be asking for approval on. Are there any questions for me with this item?
No questions? You're quite affordable.
Thank you.
do we need to have a motion?
Yes.
Move to approve.
Isela, okay. You want a second?
Sure.
Okay. And Dave Hall is seconding very quietly, but he is seconding.
Okay, any further discussion other than this is very affordable and very happy with your service as a administrative agent?
Thank you.
Yeah, and I want to say thank you because it's a lot of work and you are doing remarkably. Thanks for all your help and for continuing to move this forward because it will benefit our entire region. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
All in favor, please indicate so by saying aye.
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 Anybody opposed? Okay, motion passes.
All right.
And then item number 6, discussion and consider action. Consider whether or not to authorize the regional flood planning group sponsor to begin the procurement process for a technical consultant for the second cycle, or authorize the current technical consultant for Region E to continue to serve.
And if I may, just wanted to bring you all some additional information on this item. The Council of Governments, have had a discussion with our outside auditors. We provided our procurement manual to them and just walked through the steps in terms of what our manual actually states that we are required to do when it comes to professional services. And so one of the items that I wanted to note is that it is required in our manual for us to have to issue a request for qualifications when we are asking for a new service that we have not obtained previously. And so with the understanding that the second cycle of the Texas Water Development Board is going to be very similar to what is being requested in the first cycle, that is the position that the Council of Governments is taking. We asked for their recommendation or their consideration, meaning the outside auditors, if we were to go with our consultant for the second cycle without procuring, without going through a procurement, would we be potentially running into any issues, any violations of our procurement manual? And the recommendation from the outside auditors is that as long as the work that's being conducted by the consultant is similar to what was already procured the first time, then we would not be putting ourselves in danger of any potential findings moving forward. However, with that being said, we did reach out to other regions, and for the ones who did respond to my query, we had 4 that were going to be re-procuring services or going through a new procurement cycle. We had 2 that are going to keep their current consultant. And what everyone did mention, I think overwhelmingly, was that whatever they're doing to adhere to their procurement policies is what they're going by. So in the Professional Services Act, we did read that again, and we used one of our consultants to help us work through that. In our determination with the Professional Services Act, it does stipulate, and everyone's aware of this, that you cannot go off of pricing if you're going to do a request for qualifications, but it doesn't say that you have to go out for an RFQ. And so I know that sounds a bit counterintuitive, but as we're reading the law and how we're interpreting it, we're of the position that we won't be violating any act, any policies if we stay with the current consultant. But now we put it in the hands of the flood planning group, where you all will need to decide whether you would prefer to go for a second cycle through procurement or stay with AECOM as your technical consultant. I did verify with Megan that we are good within our timeline. We're not, if you all decide to procure, there's nothing that will ruin or that will hamper the timeline that Water Development Board has set forward. We have to have a consultant by August of 2024. Am I correct in that statement, Megan?
Yes, totally correct, Annette. We've got plenty
Okay.
of time next year. So now is you're ahead of time in making this decision.
Okay. And so that's the other thing, I guess, that we can also provide to you all. If you do not want to make a decision today, we can punt and look at this at our next meeting, which I anticipate would be probably in maybe January, February. But again, this is I just want to let you know everything that we have to provide to you in terms of information, and then I'll turn it back to the chair for discussion or if any additional questions you may have of me.
No questions from my end, but does anybody else have any questions or comments?
I just wonder, are you supportive of allowing the current contractor to continue? Or do you have some comments on that?
I'm a very big fan of AECOM's work. In addition to the planning groups, to the flood planning effort, I also work with AECOM at the city of El Paso, and every time they are awarded a contract, they perform really well. So I am comfortable with either decision, but I like to leave it up to the group to get their input, and we should vote on this as a group.
I have a question, Annette.
Yes, sir.
I mean, thank you for your explanation and on all the legalities that goes with it. And I'm understanding and reading between the line that it is a matter of interpretation rather than for sure. But question, has any other consultants, or from the first go around when it was out for bid, was there other consultants that were interested in doing that work? And would it be much cleaner if we did put it out for procurement rather than just going by the interpretation, just to kind of like not have any ounce of dust on this process?
And so to answer your question, for the second cycle, we have received interest, both from the firms that are being represented by Mr. Wright as well as Mr. Blaisdell. And so those are two firms that I have been requested information on in terms of when we would anticipate an RFQ to go out, and if that was going to be happening, they would like to be informed of the document.
Okay,
Gisela?
so there is interest in other firms wanting to jump in on the second phase and not putting up for procurement will shut them out of that process, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Gisela, go ahead.
Thank you, Omar. I think AECOM has done great job, has been doing a really, really good work for us, and they've been meeting the deadlines, they've been meeting the budget, and I think it's been a lengthy process, and they've kept us on track as well. I know that Chris and Brian, they were part of the original team as well, but even after they left, I mean, everything kept on running smoothly. And I really like what they've been doing for us and how they've been helping throughout the region. So I would like to stay with AECOM.
Anybody else have any comments?
Just as a comment for background, it seems to me that there's been an awful lot of research and development in the process that AECOM had to do to get themselves up to speed. And I guess I have a little bit of concern about whether a new contractor could come in and have the necessary time to be able to develop an equivalent amount of information and knowledge, on the process. But that's just me. I guess I tend to be supportive of keeping AECOM too.
My understanding is that all of these records are public.
Okay.
So if requested, a new consultant
Would have access to them. Okay.
However, what AECOM brings to the table in addition are projects that are associated with the flood planning group that are not necessarily part of the flood planning process. We're talking implementation, securing funding, and working with different communities to make sure that the flood plan is implemented. That's going way beyond what was the original intent of their contract. And they also have other projects that are associated with flood infrastructure, like highway infrastructure, which is related. And so just additional comments on this. Anybody else have anything to discuss?
I may add that putting it out for procurement, which I'm more leaning toward that decision because it gives a chance for other, companies to participate, especially now that we know that there is interest. It will not shut out AECOM from competing again and still winning the second round anyway, since they have an edge on this. To me, that sounds more of the fair route to go.
And one more thing that I did not mention is that Water Development Board is not taking a position on telling us whether we have to or whether we can or cannot. And so it does lie within the responsibility of the sponsoring entity. Did you want to add anything else to that, Megan, or?
No, Annette, I think you've said everything really well. Thank you. Yes, Annette and I have talked and thoroughly discussed this offline. So I feel really good about y'all having the decision. There is a landscape of a variety of decision making that all the planning groups have made. So I think Annette introduced that well. So no, before I babble, I think you've introduced everything really well, Annette. Thanks.
Thank you.
Javier, do you have any thoughts on this?
I think we all know AECOM has done a good job with this. And I think there is a benefit to keeping them because they do have a lot of the experience. I fully understand where Sal's coming from in the procurement process and going through all that process. But for me, I think I'd rather just stay with AECOM throughout this and keep them instead of going through that again. But that's just my opinion. That's where my stance is.
Okay. To make it fair, let's open this up for comment to the public. So if all the guests that are here with us today would like to speak to the group regarding this item, please go ahead and do so. If you'll raise your hand so that we can call your name. I'm not seeing anybody, so
Oh, haircut, I know.
go ahead and speak if at this point if you're interested. That's Chris, right?
Um,
Okay.
Yeah, so I fully understand your all's, opinions on the matter, and I just wanted to say that, it was great working with y'all. I understand the importance of this study, and, fully support whatever decisions y'all make. But, yeah, I do just want to express that we are, Atkins Realis, interested in, pursuing this opportunity if it was to be put out in the street. We think that we could put together a strong team that would have a competitive proposal. And I do think that a lot of the interaction with the different communities that I was involved with in the initial portion of the flood cycle, flood planning cycle, would be able to be followed through in this next cycle because of that historical knowledge that I bring, and I know that Manish Nayal, who's over at Atkins Realis now, also he was very involved in a lot of the flood modeling of the FMPs and FMSs, and so he's very familiar, as am I, with those models. So I do understand the position that there is a lot of knowledge that AECOM has historically, and as I mentioned, fully support whatever decision you all make. I just wanted to put in my 2 cents, before the vote was made. So thank you all.
Thank you. And then Levi, if you have anything to add.
Yeah, my only concern is, and again, AECOM did a wonderful job, but then it seems like 2 of the major team players on that are no longer with them. So that kind of brings a concern to me, specifically if we're talking about the knowledge and experience on the past planning cycle. It would be almost a new AECOM team. That's my only concern with that. Again, AECOM did a wonderful job. I know Gilbert's still here and he just raised his hand, so maybe that riled him up a little bit. But, seeing 2 members of that team kind of go off to different companies does give me a little bit of concern on that. Gilbert, do you want to respond to that a little bit?
Yes. I understand your concerns there, Levi. And just to let you know, AECOM is a very huge firm. We've got resources from all over the place, and the biggest region here is here in El Paso, and we've got the El Paso team here that's got all the knowledge, and historically AECOM has done all the work around here. So we are keeping the full team intact. We do have our subs that are still with us that play big roles, and not to take away from Chris and Brian, but we do have people that can come in and take over the positions that they were holding there. And I've got Travis Brand on the line. He came in, we did the amendment to it, and we're gonna keep working for you all. We were happy to working for you all and would like to continue doing that. Thanks.
Gilbert, one question. Is there an opportunity to expand your your team of subs if needed?
If needed, yeah, there's that possibility, Omar.
And that's
I'm not
after,
gonna say,
like, even after, let's say that a decision is made today where your contract is renewed and we stay with AECOM, there's a possibility for you to sub out Chris and his team if needed.
yes, sir.
Thank you. Anybody else would like to comment on this item?
Oh, Brian.
Brian?
Yeah, I just wanted to also kind of echo a lot of what Chris said and just speak to HDR's perspective. We are very interested in pursuing the opportunity if it goes out on the street. And I also just want to echo what Chris said about the historical knowledge. That a lot of that does transfer, and I think HDR actually has a lot of experience on various regions throughout the state. We've worked a lot in the San Antonio region and around that area. So we're very familiar with the planning cycle. Obviously, I'm familiar with the first planning cycle over in Region 14. So a lot of that does stay, within that. So if there's any concerns about the historical knowledge being transferred over, I would just kind of encourage kind of that other kind of keeping it the bigger perspective of just what other companies can offer. So yeah, I just wanted to say again, I appreciate working for everyone in the first cycle, and I also fully support what decision y'all make, and yeah, just wanted to say thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you.
Great. Sal?
Thank you, Brian, and thank you, Gilbert and Chris. And I have no doubt in my mind that AECOM has done a great job. They've met schedule timing, and they've worked with us very, very diligently, and definitely they are qualified. To me, I look at it from this point of view. I know, like, as a group, it would probably be easier for us just to go on with the current consultants, and people that are standing on the sideline wanting to be part of this, wanting to win this contract, might take that position saying, well, they just took the easy way out. So if we have the choice to either go for procurement or to stay with the current consultant, and to stay with the current consultant, we had to get legal advice or some kind of interpretation that, hey, we're not going to get in trouble. I would say, putting it up procurement does not shut out AECOM from being in this process and winning this again. They might have an edge. But second, it would keep it cleaner process for us, that we have not shut out other companies from the process of winning this altogether. And as we can see right now from what Levi has commented, that the experience has been transferred, and I'm pretty sure all this public information will be transferred to a new company. I don't think we're going to lose any edge or issue. As a matter of fact, having a second eye to look at it might be beneficial. It always does work for us. I come from the private sector, and I'm always an advocate for giving a chance for other companies to be part of that. So with that, I think y'all should not think of what's easier for us, but rather what gives better opportunity to other companies as well. Thank you.
And Isela.
Isela?
So I don't think it's a matter of taking the easy way out. I think it's a matter of continuity. It just it flows easier. So they've done excellent work, and HDR is qualified, and they do good work, and so does Atkins. But it's a matter of not an easy way out, but continuity. That's how I see it. So I am a proponent to continue with AECOM because they have done good work. If I would see them faltering and not providing the work that's needed for our region, I would definitely in a heartbeat say, yes, let's go and let's procure it. Now, the COG and also Texas Water Development Board, they've already touched base with legal. They've already been assessed and been doing all that research, and we can continue with the same team, with the same consultant, or we can go ahead and bid it out and RFS it outright. But to me, it's not a matter of an easy way out. It's a matter of continuity.
Levi?
I didn't mean to raise my hand twice. Mr. Hall, you're kind of quiet today. Do you have any thoughts on this? I'd like to hear your opinion, if that's okay.
Well, that's interesting. Yeah, I tend to be supportive. Levi, thanks for the opportunity. I thought I commented earlier, but I tend to be supportive of retaining AECOM and not going out with a new bid request. But I also respect what you guys are saying and clearly understand the agenda that you're supporting.
Carlos, you are the last one.
Oh,
I
we
mean, on
can't
the
hear
other
you.
side, I think it will be just fair to give everybody, other firms, an opportunity in this one.
Understood.
Pretty evenly split.
Yes, it seems like we're evenly split, so I
And we,
think,
and we do have Mr. Rodriguez, but his audio is not working, and we'd have to take him under public comment because since he doesn't have a screen, we can't count him towards quorum.
Mhm.
But he did mention in the chat that he did think that AECom has been doing a good job. That's what he had mentioned in the chat. So I don't know if there was anything else that Janae wanted to add to that, but we can't hear him right now.
okay. Because everybody's opinions are so divided, I guess at this point we'll entertain a motion, either or, and then we'll deliberate after that.
Can I just, before we entertain a motion, and since we are evenly split, again, I would definitely say that going for procurement and it would not shut out ACOM from winning this. So the most fair course is to go for that. I do not want to come in here and put a motion, have it denied or get into this. I think you guys should really see this, that the other companies do not have the advantage to be dealing with you and talking with you on a daily basis. So you would feel the way that you just want to continue, rather, giving a fair chance to other companies does not shut out ACOM from winning this. They do have an edge, and that is the more fair course to go. That's what I would, vote for. That's what I would, put out as a motion if say so. So.
Okay. Then, if I'm understanding correctly, Sal, you've made a motion to
procure.
to procure.
For your procurement, yes.
Okay. This is the first time we've ever had such a debated item. So as we continue, when we do vote, I'm gonna ask everybody's name so that we keep record of who voted yes and no. Most of the time our votes are unanimous. Do we have a second for that one?
I second that one.
Carlos, second.
Okay.
Okay, any further discussion? Okay,
This is a
so-
vote for going to procurement, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
So at this point, we're gonna
Isela, let me know.
No.
Okay. Dave Hall,
No,
Javier Acosta,
No.
Sal Masood,
Yes.
Carlos Velarde,
Yes.
Levi Bryant.
No.
Okay,
this is-
that, so we already have it. So
we don't
1,
have
2,
the-
3, yeah. So the noes haven't.
Okay, so unfortunately, Sal, the motion has been denied. Do we have a motion to stay with ACOM? To not go
I
through the
move-
procurement process and stay with ACOM?
I move
Gisela,
to stay with the AECOM and go through the procurement process.
do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Do you want to put that one on vote too?
Yeah,
So,
so it'll be roll call again.
okay, Isela Dagnino,
Yes.
Dave Hall,
Yes.
Javier Acosta,
Yes.
Sal Masood,
No.
Carlos Velarde,
No.
and Levi Bryan.
Yes.
Okay, the ayes have it.
Okay, then motion passes. And so Sal, I just want to reiterate that I understand your point completely. And I do think that transparency is important, but I agree with Gisela's argument on continuity. ACOM has done an incredible job. And there's so much work going on already, even between planning periods, that transitioning ACOM out would be a disservice to our community, especially when we have historic levels of funding available from the federal government that we have never been able to tap before, and a new round of a flood infrastructure fund from the Texas Water Development Board. That transition would unfortunately be a disservice to our communities. So this is why I would have voted in favor of retaining ACOM, because it's this is too pivotal of a moment, and we continue to rely on their technical expertise for any question. So if we have any project, they immediately jump on board with us and give well beyond what I would expect from these consultants. So I apologize that we weren't able to come into a full agreement, but I'm hoping that we can continue forward as strong as we've always been and continue to keep improving our communities and addressing flood issues in our region.
I fully
So-
understand and appreciate the comment. And again, please understand that my position and my opinion has absolutely no reflection on ACOM and ACOM achievements and their excellent work that they have done for us. My vote and my comment is only to stay as transparent as possible and not to put an ounce of dust on this board that somebody might come and accuse, hey, they just selected the same one and they shot us out of the process, so on and so forth. That is my goal, is to be transparent and to be fair to the 100% degree. That's where I come in. No reflection on ACOM and ACOM's achievements and ability and capability. I just wanted to not have anybody to say they just took the easy way out and they just did not want to, go through the process and they selected the same continuity. I understand it, but I do not also want to take away from the qualifications and abilities of other firms to take on carry on the baton and continue to the second leg of this job. That is my opinion, and I appreciate it. This is a democratic process, and we all respect it fully. Thank you, guys. Thanks, everybody, whoever supported or opposed. Thank you.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Sam. Anybody else? Any further comments?
Adjourn. Is our last one?
Do we need to,
Oh.
I know it says adjourn. Do we need to look at the next meeting or not?
If I may ask, based on the schedule that you have provided us, I know I previously mentioned January, February, but perhaps that might be a bit premature for us to meet again, or are you? Well, we may need to meet again just to approve the administrative expenses, the last ones that are going to come out, because we do have to submit that documentation to Water Development Board by February. Is that correct, Megan?
Yes, so final payment requests are due at the end of February. And the other thing worth noting is that your grant application, the Rio Grande COGS application, will be due at the end of February as well. So there's that consideration. And then we have a soft goal date of executing our main contract with the COG. I think we said in May. And then we look to have subcontracts with the technical consultant team executed in the months following May. So there's a lot of time. So you can choose how that looks for the group.
Okay, so I'll have to get back to the group to notify when the next one is, but probably in February at some point will be the next meeting to wrap up those two items, to submit the application and then also to request the final payment.
Wonderful.
Okay.
Okay.
Do you have a motion?
You need a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
So moved.
Gisela, second.
Okay, so Sal, Aniseta?
Thanks for hanging in there, Gisela. I see you
you.
on the move.
Thank you, everyone.
All in favor of adjourning, please indicate so by saying aye.
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 Anybody opposed? Okay, motion passes. Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Happy holidays. Thank
Thanks,
you.
everybody.
Happy
Have a great
holidays.
Thank you.
one.
Happy
Thank you all.
holidays. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you all. Happy holidays.